different directions, it wasn't working. And obviously, everything we say, probably for the first 3 weeks, should be caveated with, but it is still early. So that's the theory for CLG. Now they just have to get it working in practice.
We'll see if it comes through as the picks and bans have begun. FlyQuest got themselves their first one of the split yesterday, and a lot of that was the man on your screen right there. Viper on Riven, and we'll see if that... Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Riven is banned, and the smiles come out of the FlyQuest lineup.
Yeah, the one, someone in the stands like,
come on! I like that.
That's why we're here to see Viper plays, to see his Riven, which is somewhat true. I mean, it's where FlyQuest has found most of their success for the past 2 years has been when Viper's been on Riven. Opens up Aatrox a bit more as a pick.
One thing I want to shout out, by the way, if you see the left sleeve on the CLG jerseys, 10 years of CLG being an org, founded in 2010 as a League of Legends team by Hotshot GG. It's 2020. That's 10 years, Jat.
That is it.
Shout out everyone who was playing League in 2010 and remembers the inception of CLG. I heard some woos. You can be louder. I appreciate all of you who've been with us for a decade. It's awesome. Yeah! That's more like it. Senna's not enabled. I'm sorry. It's pretty to look at. I'm as happy as you are.
It is.
But you cannot play Set.
Next week he'll be available.
Next week. We'll get it every game. That's the one I want to see.
Everyone loves little covers. Yeah, I mean, just thinking about the overall meta a little bit. Oh, they love crowd baiting with hovers. Oh, I really missed that.
Oh, I love crowd baiting with hovers. I know we had different opinions on this and the word cheers and everything else.
Sure.
More driving here for Wiggly. Rumble, by the way, coming through is a big deal. What's amazing to me is, like, we really hard called Rumble a mid laner, but we're seeing him top lane more often than not just because of how the matchups are sorting out. But Rumble mid is almost unpickable in the LPL because he's banned every time. Yeah,
it's a very powerful pick. We saw a little bit of it at Worlds. As you mentioned, it's big time in the LPL. Karthus jungle is something Santorin climbs with in solo queue, has brought out briefly in LCS to very limited success. This is the PoE flame at Stixxay right now. Hovering.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it's because it is Stixxay. He's just in disguise. They sent over a different player, actually. No one can tell.
He's playing AD carry down there. He's pulling a Caps. Yeah.
Anyway, in terms of the meta, what's interesting is the bans have stayed fairly static throughout the weekend, aside from the odd, like, Riven or Lee Sin sneaking into the ban phase. And what's ended up happening is then they just do the handshake trade of Senna and Aphelios.
Yep.
They're just, we're both going to have one of them, and that'll be that.
See, that's when you pull the wool over their eyes and play Senna in her intended role of support, and you just grab the Aphelios-Senna duo. Then you get engaged upon and die.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not a good lane, I don't think.
But, like, I keep saying this with Senna.
Okay.
Yes, she can be strong as a support. I think Senna would actually be pro-viable as a support if melee bot laners were highly viable.
Okay.
Because the way you fight in lane with Senna plus melee is the melee goes in and you Q through everyone. So you're getting heals and the damage. Most traditional bot lane carries are ranged, so you can almost never get the effectiveness out of your Senna Q.
Right.
On top of that, it's like you can do other things, make it even harder for AD carry Senna to get souls, make the item scalings worse. Like, there's other mathy things you can do to correct it, but, like, at its core, just the design of the queue means it's going to be better with melees.
And so we have Senna AD carry with a tank support who is melee and makes the queue do double duty. So yeah, it really does line up in the current situation that we're in, how the kit interacts. But we're in the second phase of bans right now, and with only one support grabbed here in the Nautilus, it means CLG can ban supports away from Ignar. His Thresh is gone. His signature Blood Strength is still up, which he won with yesterday, by the way, so you might see that ban come through as well. You don't. You see Orianna off of PoE, but the Rumble could easily go mid.
Ooh, I wonder if... Yeah, the Rumble could definitely go mid. But I wonder if Victor becomes a contested pick here.
Right.
It's one of PoE's best LCS champs, and it's one of Crown's best champs of all time.
Yep.
Not that he's played it that much lately.
And this is pre-buff Victor, where he doesn't get full mana off of a mid-game upgraded augment.
Yeah.
10.2, he's actually even stronger and already contested. Ornn comes through as a top lane van, and hype. Not going to see it, but I appreciate the hovers.
There is a lot of history. I mean, obviously, PoE being on CLG last year builds into the backstory behind all these hovers, but Just some friendly mind games back and forth.
Yeah, I still respected the Xerath game from back when, because it was all about playing through Darshan up in the top lane and giving him Xerath ults to help the 1v1s. Game didn't work, but I thought it was a cool strat.
Another blind pick Zoe as we saw last game.
Yeah. One eye open, kind of, because you maybe face the Rumble, but we'll see what...
Pushing to roam bottom lane for the Aphelios, Leona, Rek'Sai stuff. That's a lot of dangerous stuff going bottom lane that could pull Wiggly down there. But if Wiggly's able to play top, then Ruin's going to be big.
All right, well, final time ticks down. No more stops to be had, but these are the matchups. This is what we expect to see as we come in. Don't worry about where you're seeing Leona and Aphelios. They're going to be played at the appropriate spots. It's a HUD thing. Don't worry about it. All appropriate stuff here. So, as time ticks down, final comments from the coaches. Final thoughts. Here's how we play the game. Here's the lanes to play about. Here's the early game pressure. Here's the late game plan. Time for handshakes, and off they go. Let's see who can pick this one up.
Looking forward to seeing these two teams play, actually. So, something that I find interesting about these two teams is a lot of the ways that they will win is through teamwork rather than thinking, hey, here's an individual who's really gonna hyper carry. Like when FlyQuest has been good, it was the like Santorin working with the team, like teamwork story going through. And likewise, like when CLG was good last split, you were maybe saying it's Wiggly, maybe saying it's Ruin, but overall it was very much around teamwork. So based on preseason power rankings, I had CLG at 4th and FlyQuest at 7th. But there's a lot of variation between that because I'm thinking like FlyQuest on their best day could just be better than CLG, right? Because you're thinking about they both have good teamwork. If things go well, it could be very good for them, which is just why I'm interested in this matchup because in a sense, they kind of both win in the same way and I want to see them clash.
All right, it's going to be a hype one. Here we go as the game is underway and they square off and rumble in the jungle. The most flavorful of Rumble skins. Got pineapples on the back. I appreciate that. We'll see if Pee-wee can get anything done out of this champion. Very highly prized mid laner in pro play. Don't get to see it much in North America. Are going to see it here today. As we get the players swapped over. Yes, that is indeed Wild Turtle on Aphelios and Ignar and Leona. Again, just they were in the wrong order.
They didn't
when they joined the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually Ignar and Turtle's fault.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, automated graphics can't account for player error sometimes.
Yeah. It's not that hard to do LCS order.
It's not. That's why you get it right almost every time.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh.
Not worth jumping out of Champ Select 4. I think
Totally
production
agree.
made the right call to get us in the game.
Okay, well, as the players get ready to go into their lanes without too much of a skirmish happening, gonna have Gabby sit by with Song for an interview.
Thank you so much, Freak. I do have Song here. You are new to the organization, so I wanted to get a couple quick thoughts from you. First of all, Crown also new, but some are thinking about the synergy that you and he may have. So what do you make of his addition to this team?
Yeah, I never worked with the Crown in the past year, but when I talked with Crown, we're really just respect each other and we have a like similar strategy or the game knowledge over there. So we are really love and have each other. That's why right now it looks pretty good for us. Yeah.
Also, Stixay seemed really excited about the addition of Smoothie. So thoughts on the bot lane synergy that can come from this?
Yeah, Smoothie is kind of like very good at the mechanics and play aggressive type of the support. And then both guys really good synergy doing well right now. And Even last year, I wanted to work with Sumati because I love his style and the game out of the plans. So yeah, I also really love like playing with the Sumati too.
Well, thank you so much, Song, and we're back to the game.
Thank you very much, Gabby. Yeah, I'm hyped if CLG does well. They were a playoff team for me coming into spring. That was where I put them. I thought that this would be a good-looking lineup for the squad, and we'll see if they can pick up their first win here against FlyQuest today.
Especially because of the history of CLG. Like the teams that have been around even pre-LCS, you mentioned the 10 years of CLG, but they were one of the original members of the league. Nearly got relegated that one time. They've had their ups and downs. They've won 2 LCS titles. They have banners hanging right here. Early gank though on Crown. Gets flash.
Flash, double flash, follow. Crown goes pick one up, but cannot get away. First blood for Centaur. Now the follow-up flash to the knockup, but he's burning down Wiggly. That is not Minnesota style. A double kill for Centaur.
That was a very iffy re-engage by Wiggly. I'll give you the first death. Sure, Crown tried to outplay it, but there's no way that flash follow is going to work into a full health Rek'Sai and Rumble.
Nope.
Big overreach there to make it go from bad to worse. So first off, good gank from Santorin. You're expecting him to go for Scuttle Crab. That's why Crown is trying to step up. Scuttle Crab spawns, it's not there. What I think happened in comms here is Ruin says, I'm here, and Smoothie says, I'm coming through river. And Wiggly doesn't want them to get away. That's what he was likely thinking. Doesn't make it right, and he ends up dying.
3 seconds off. Squad was not there for the follow-up. Instant turnaround. And that is 2 quick kills. 1,300 gold in the early game. And they got to lick their wounds. Now, Wiggly is up a camp. He managed to take an extra scuttle over here, so he's got, at least got some farm. But it's going to be a long road back up.
Oh, yeah. Scuttle Crab, one camp whose experience wasn't changed in the offseason. So still very valuable to stay out on the map. And I want to see if Santorin can really get a lead here. With the double longsword advantage he has over Wiggly, any type of fight he can actually find in the jungle, he will be strongly advantaged.
Jeez, man, just imagine a matchup where you're up double longsword and you're already favored in the 1v1. Just like, okay, maybe invade and take some camps away. Right now, though, Santorin just on the farm game. Crown push around on PoE. They're pretty close in farm here as well as the Rumble pushes up. Worth noting that, of course, he is flashless, and so Jarvan, if he can get behind at all, the EQ knockup can turn into a kill. Is going to require some respect at a PoE.
One thing I want to kind of point out, a lot of junglers jungle off of field. I think Santorin is a jungler who definitely does the math. So last year, he was one of the first junglers to highly prioritize Krugs, because back then, Krugs gave about twice as much experience as other major jungle camps. Now, relatively, Gromp is the best camp to take.
Yes.
And I think Santorin is not going to be someone who takes a long time to optimize that in his paths. He's going to do it right away. So you can actually see, he did his Gromp, just pathed all the way across the map. There's actually a ward on Wiggly's Gromp area. So he's fully bought into trying to get this, is going to walk over ward here, and technically CLG would be here for a surprise game.
Wiggly has snuck down to this part of this map, but of course we actually know Santorin's nearby. He controlled it a second ago. So his situation is known and sits around waiting, pulls down PoE, and Rumble is level 6. Equalizer gank could come through. Wards are there, Sweeper's there, they'll get rid of this vision. And Wiggly realizes, yep, I've got a recall, gotta go away from this one. His Raptors are back up, he'll clear those in a little bit. No gank actually happened.
Yeah, but he can easily just go for the Drake, generally knowing that people are going to be on a reset, and uses that double longsword advantage to get FlyQuest that early Ocean Drake. All of this is based off of his early game gank, but still a good start for FlyQuest.
Santorin's also a player that pretty much always has the highest vision score of all junglers in the game he's in, over the league he's in. He often out vision scores supports in his games as well. Early Sweeper got rid of that ward and kind of forced the bot lane back off the recall, made a very easy Ocean Drake grab. So he's out ganking, he's arguably out farming, and he's got the global objective here as well.
And as long as we're talking about junglers,
yeah,
I also find it interesting when junglers play against their former mid laners, which is what's happened because the mid laners have swapped, right? Like Santorin should be fairly familiar with how Crown plays the mid lane, and likewise with Wiggly and Power of Evil. So I think that's part of why both those junglers were drawn towards the mid lane. And this is probably reading too much into it, but I also wonder, like, hey, did Santorin notice that Crown kind of always pushed up around Scuttle Crab, or like was that something that was either a weakness or a strength of his?
Right.
Because there's something clever about skipping over Scuttle Crab to go for that mid lane gank. Yes, it happened 4.5 minutes ago, but it's still the most important thing that happened so far in this game.
That is true. Now turret plate down to the bottom side, 120 gold, not the 160 it was from the middle of last year. Still, of course, worth doing. Cash gained, wave cleared, 6 CS lead so far for FlyQuest bottom lane as they fight over the blue buff, but Santorin doesn't have the space to go for it.
Yeah.
Without that wave rider turret, it frees up Smoothie to roam, and he can't do anything about this.
Yeah, because Wiggly is level 6, Santorin was unable to do that fight, and also because the bottom lane kind of prioritized getting push and a plate on the turret, they didn't go in to help Santorin with his jungle. I think that actually is a little bit of a missed opportunity, because one plate versus stealing a blue and a Gromp for your jungler, I think the blue and the Gromp would have been more valuable for the overall game.
Yeah, definitely agree. And we'll see if that gets cleaned up over time, slowly but surely, especially with the plate being worth less gold. But even if it was 160, I think I would still take the blue steal.
Yeah.
But we get to see top side now being attacked by FlyQuest. They've moved Wild Turtle and Ignar over to this side of the map, off of a recall, off some items coming in. And they're going to have to be able to grab this one very early on. They can cash in, you know, decent amount of gold off the plates here. If you average 2.5 gold per plate, or 2.5 plates per Herald, average 300 gold per Herald, not bad.
Yeah, and it's about the map pressure you're able to get. Since they took that on a reset as well, it didn't cost them that much kind of overall time to do so. I mean, what will cost them time... Oh no, okay, sorry. For a second I thought they were going to be switching down bottom lane. They're actually already in basically mid-game lanes, which is the solo laners in the side lanes, and the AD carry and support mid.
This is very early to switch the duos
Yeah.
here. It's FlyQuest making that play very early on here. Rumble's right down on the bottom side. Of course, Rumble's one of the very best 1v2s anyway, as Stixay tries to bring in Smoothie, but yeah, Q hits only to a minion. Viper's going to be careful, though. Of course, he is 1v4-ish. But right now, keeping the wave at arm's reach is not going to get dove.
I actually, thinking about the way this game is playing out, I'm kind of thinking we're going to see much more of this early duo lane mid stuff. Because we have double Rift Herald spawning, and we have Drakes that are fairly easy to take and quick, and you want to be able to bounce between either one of those things earlier on in the game. So I think laning phases are going to be maybe even shorter now with the increased multi-objectives.
Right, yeah, as soon as the turret bonus resistance drop off, which is much further than into the game.
It's at 8 minutes,
Yeah, right. Be ready for the top side and the bottom side at all points in time. I like FlyQuest here. And this is, I want to kind of tell some more history, because CLG is one of the first teams that would insta-swap their dual lane the second fortification dropped. They would BF Sword recall their AD carry top side and 3v1 a turret and get first turret gold as a major objective. They were one of the first teams to make that play, and then it swept the league. FlyQuest one of the first teams to say, you know what, at 8 minutes, duo mid, pressure Herald and Drakes, that's the new meta call. That's the state we're in 2020. I think it's smart. I think this will take hold worldwide. I think it's the correct way, because like mid-game league.
There's definitely a good chance of that. And kind of getting back to this game, FlyQuest has definitely taken control. And part of it has to do with the way that Rift Herald played out, but more so the way that CLG didn't counter it. So, like, looking at the minimap, you can see they had all of this vision set up to potentially dive the bottom lane and just didn't do it. They didn't see that Viper would be in kill position, but they invested the wards. They invested about 3 people over there and just got nothing. Whereas FlyQuest with the Rift Herald broke first turret and got a second charge off. So that's just making that lead even bigger.
Yep, CLG open, they can find some mid-game right now because it's not happening just yet. As we have a 2,000 gold difference cashed in from all the turrets.
All right, and also look right now, like we see a teleport top laner getting the turret. So really, FlyQuest holds all the cards here. CLG has to force something to make something happen.
Looking down the mid lane right now, PoE could be found out, but none of the skill touch gonna land. He burns the ulti, slows down Wiggly, but no minions just yet. Big damage on this Rumble though. The flash forward, Ruin's gonna chase him on in, and that's a kill picked up, 1 on the board. Now a flash away for Santorin, chased down by Wiggly. Goes for second knock, is gonna find that one as well. 2 for 1 so far in the team fight, and now Viper is ready to go. On towards Ruin, runs back though, gonna find the layered stuns, and they should grab that kill. Crown is gonna drop, and FlyQuest make it a 2 for 2, a tied fight.
Yeah, that's actually okay for CLG based on the map position that they were in. That's a situation where FlyQuest actually should have been out of kill range, or Viper should have been teleporting in immediately. But basically that fight started, and about 6 seconds later, Viper started teleporting in, which ended up being late and making it an even fight that also gets rid of the teleport advantage for FlyQuest.
Got rid of the TP advantage. He never did cash in on a plate topside either, so it did deny some farm, but not the Hexa on his own goal.
Yeah, so to be completely fair, CLG did have to go for a play, which is why they did this, and it's Smoothie who manages to get the pick, and it's a nice CC chain. It's Nautilus into Senna, into Camille. PoE really couldn't run, and then you can see after everything is done, that's when the Aatrox comes in, so it ends up being 2 people of FlyQuest falling for 2 of CLG. Another nice CC chain on the other side.
All right, well, we're back on the map, though, with the respawns here. See big damage out of the Zoe, big damage out of Phelios. Good job, Turtle, here, making some stuff happen, but looking overall at this game state, the Drake is alive, it's Cloud. FlyQuest needed to be the team with the control. Mid lane push first. You've got the solo Drake attempt here for Santorin. First 2 Drakes are very squishy, easy pick up here. Can any jungler really in mid game can solo this, no problem at all. Turtle gives him a bit of extra damage. There's the fight, there's the pickup, and we're going to Mountain Rift.
Yeah. Good first bit of the game by FlyQuest. 5 plates to 1, 2 Drakes to 0, 1 Rift to 0. And also a kill advantage across the board. Just kind of going to be on CLG now to find a bit of tempo back into the game. They've set up a few things that they haven't been able to pull the trigger on. It's not like they have a lack of CC. They have tons of tools to be able to make these fights happen. They just have to be able to get on the same page and execute.
All right, well, 2 Drakes to go till FlyQuest can get their global shield. If they can make that one happen in the next 10 minutes. Counter Logic Gaming. Plates have just now dropped. And they get the first mid lane push right now, but have to still push back a 1,200 gold deficit. Looking around the top side, look around the mid side, quickly push it in to get rid of some wards. You see some inroads are being made, right? They're trying to take over the side of the map.
Mountain wants to go for 6-8.
Oh, they're going to find the stun. A lot of layered CC. Trying to knock down the Senna. Gets a quick heal. Does not get the ulti in time. Ignar grabs the first kill. Will there be a trade? Rumble over the top now as well. Health bar is getting dangerously low, but they will not die. 3 kills picked up. No answer for Counter Logic Gaming.
They melted them with that fight. Love Ignar with the max range, or close to max range ult over the wall before the blast cone, actually. So you're often not thinking that a Leona ult is going to hit you out of the blue. Usually it's a follow-up after an EQ. That just opens up everything for them. It means they're going to be able to get this top turret. It means they're going to be able to get second rift and really take over the game.
Really, really are. Second hail going to be there as well. Plenty of time. No issue at all in losing this one. Oh, just hitting! Woo!
Come
Crown!
on.
Crown!
Santorin had no smite. He'd used it on the fight earlier. Crown, that play basically saves mid turret.
Yeah.
That's what it did. Even if they can't pick up the Herald, it's perfectly worth it.
Good play, Crown. It's going to sit there. It's going to decay. They shortened the timer that was on the map, by the way, in the last couple of months, which is, I think, good for the watchability of this game.
Yeah, watch this, though. 6-8 is sitting on a ward while CLG is clearing, and 6-8, he knows the wave's crashing, so he wants to get there. Boom. Dead center stun. Unable to get Santorin off of him. And also can't quite get that final bit of the Senna ultimate up to get the shield. What a great equalizer as well. Against the wall, so you can't move into the wall to get out of it. There was a game earlier where the Rumble ults kept giving a little bit of space next to walls.
Yeah.
I like it when Rumble ults don't do that. So good job by PoE aiming that vector spell properly.
And good job. 3 for 0 in the gold lead. 3,500. We're 2 minutes away from the third Drake of the game. Mountain going to go probably to FlyQuest here as well, and they are absolutely taking control. And I'm nothing but impressed with FlyQuest. They are playing, I think, really good League of Legends so far in the early spring split.
Yeah, I had some conversations about FlyQuest before the season, and while no one was really willing to all in on FlyQuest and say, yeah, they definitely got it, it was a little surprising to go back and say, well, wait a minute, this team was top 4 in spring of 2019. Like, it's easy to remember the 9th place of Summer Split with their final game being losing to Echo Fox, who was at the time, I think, like 3-14.
Yeah.
And just this really sour note to end the year before regional qualifier, where they also lost in the first round. But they had reached highs, and then you look at the team and they say, well, Ignar is likely an upgrade in the bottom lane, and PoE has been very good in the right situation.
Yep.
So far it looks like the right situation, and it's going well for FlyQuest.
You take them, you know, optimistically, it's a 4th place team with 2 upgrades. That's at least a 3rd place team, and you know, maybe higher. So this is a good look, and I'm happy for FlyQuest. I'm happy to see him kind of right now sort of near the top of the LCS. As far as I could tell, they're very favored here in this game. Kind of counting down the minutes until they get their soul. What a play! Ignar is always ready to go, and you're ready for number 2 as well. eSports the back line, trying to force down 6A as well. FlyQuest do no wrong in this game.
Yeah, and Ignar's Leona is definitely impressive.
Yeah.
I think a lot of compositions would say, hey, maybe Braum here to deal with all the engagement CLG has, but also, like, they need to be able to start fights. And Ignar is also someone who's really, really, really good at Leona. It's the champion that made him famous.
Yeah.
If you think all the way back to 2017 Worlds in the Ardent Sensor meta, when he brought out Fervor Leona in the Worlds quarterfinals. So much like Viper's Riven, you could see Ignar's Leona as, hey, this is a champion that this player is just really special at. So let's give it to him in any situation we can.
And here comes Drake number 3, set up for a 23-30 Mountain Soul, which good luck getting Zoe poked through that. It's going to look really good for them as time goes on. FlyQuest needing to take on the pressure, take down the kills, take down the turrets. All 3 outers gone already. And we still wait to find CLG's openings. They've got engage tools, right? They've got Camille, Jarvan, and Nautilus to start fights out. They've got Zoe for poke. The tools are there, but they're just not finding the situations.
Yeah, definitely not. And the further you fall behind, the harder it is to find the right fights with your engaged tools. They'll really need Smoothie to get Stoneplate before he's able to do any type of real engaging. Otherwise, he's just going to blow up basically instantly. CLG also hasn't been able to get side lane advantages with the Camille. It's meant to be this counter pick against Viper, but really just they've never been able to get the 2v2s going because super early on into the game, the mid lane was at a big disadvantage and PoE's been threatening roams between top and bottom. But look at this, Santorin, game gold leader, only 1 level behind his soul laners, which is rare nowadays as a jungler, really showing up on this rec side.
Yep, good farm. Again, if you can take camps on cooldown and if you focus Gromp, you can equal the old season in gold income, though of course it is rare. And yes, they're winning, but either way, good job to Santorin, doing a good job. And now,
where's the Leona ult? Just watch it fly from the sky.
Yeah, right. Like, was that the moment? Look for the play. No spell thief abilities available right now. But knocks down the cannon, gets some farm, and Santorin just taking away the enemy jungler as much as he can. The ward comes down to the mid lane. CLG playing around this bottom river, but who would ever go down bottom river? The Drake's not up and the wave is pushed down. FlyQuest would never go into that brush.
Can respect CLG for going for something. You gotta think they're gonna fight.
They're gonna try for the knockup. Here comes the re-engage on top. They're all going forward. Do they have the damage? And it's Wildcard on the first kill to fight so far. Cutting back as best he can, but still jumps on. And a shutdown comes through for Crown. Still a trade kill comes in. Santorin on the board. 2 for 1 FlyQuest. PoE rooted, but CLG are out of damage.
Turtle trying to stand and fire as much as he can. That right there is one of the reasons you often see defensive supports paired with the Felios, because when he gets jumped on, he really just gets to auto attack until he dies.
Yeah.
And there was no good peel that you could see from FlyQuest, but even with all that, they still won the fight. It was just Turtle who fell versus Ruin and Wiggly in their lead extents.
Yeah. Well, we can see that fight again.
Yeah, CLG waited for a while in that brush. Time to go. It is a good initiation, right? Nautilus onto Jarvan onto Senna. They get a lot of damage down. Ruin even informs the Senna or the Leona ultimate with his own Camille ulti, but it's just too little too late in terms of the overall game state.
Another good ulti from PoE as well. Again, against the wall, stacking up the assists there. Did plenty of damage. Even though he didn't get any kills, I'm pretty sure he was top 2 damage charts for that fight. CLG, even when they try to make the plays, and good for them to try, they just cannot quite get enough out of it. Some of that is, of course, the gold lead.
Yeah, and 1 minute, 50 seconds until a potential Mountain Soul. We have had a lot of discussions over which Mountain Soul is good in which situations. And I'm probably more preferential to Mountain Soul than most in the fact that I do think it should be quite good, but specifically even better against people that kind of have to all in you. And I'm seeing this CLG game, like the Camille, Jarvan, Nautilus, when they fight, they fight. They go all the way in. And having these big shields that are going to be existing on all of FlyQuest, if they get this Mountain Soul, it does seem like a good game for it.
Yeah, there's two things that Mountain Soul does really well. It's obviously because of the flat shield, it's essentially raw HP. Like, you have 2,300 instead of 2,100 health. Like,
Yeah.
it is beautiful. You just simply have more yet to chunk out. I think it is also good against Poke because it refreshes out of combat. Because Zoe hits a Q, hits you 8 seconds later, you got another shield for 200 more health on top. So it's essentially also health regen. It is both those stats. It is good against almost all offensive comps.
Yeah.
But I would say any like pure like DPS over time comp where it's, 300
Yes.
DPS per champion, okay, that's less important. That's when Ocean maybe matters more because the fights are longer.
Yeah, that's about the distinction. Both Ocean and Mountain are defensive in nature, so
Yeah.
they're going to be good against all forms of damage, but the more you trend towards damage over time, the better you would be against Ocean. As we see them setting up now, 18 seconds left.
And there's a sleep. Is there follow through? No. Cannot find the way through that one, though there is war over the wall. Mountain Rift can help Ruin, of course. Didn't really mention that, but there's more walls to shut off of.
CLG doesn't have that many ways into this buff right now, actually.
Nice take by Ignar. Finds a stun as well, but Banshee's Veil is on top. Actually, couldn't find the stun because of Banshee's Veil, but tried to anyway. Might have jumped through in a fog, but this Drake is alive, and it means a very massive shield. Here comes CLG forward, but Aphelios zones them off with the turret. Gets the Gravitum root now as well. Second turret comes in pretty soon, but they're already focusing it down.
He's going to peel. Watch Ignar.
It's all about Wiggly here as well. Here comes the Tifa into the back line. They're going to take the battle first. On the far side is the kill on a Zoe, and the other one is Aphelios dying. It's a 1-for-1, but they'll knock down the Nautilus as well. FlyQuest 2-1 so far. Santorin's still alive. Wiggly the same, but can he go back in? He wants to. Look again at the Jarvan. Can he steal this Drake buff? He's going to get right back over the wall. The ward spots that he is gone. There should not be a way to steal this, and the Mountain Soul in the 4v3 goes over to FlyQuest.
Oh, man. Great flank by Ignar. Great follow by PoE and Santorin. If Turtle only knew what was up, watch this replay. So everyone is like, hey, we're going to wait for Stixxay and Crown to go. Look where Turtle is. He's just getting destroyed by Jarvan Camille because everyone else was diving on the flank. So almost perfect for FlyQuest. The net is another 2-for-1 fight and a Mountain Soul. So all good things, but I just found it a little humorous how Turtle wasn't in on it.
It is. Short legs, a little humorous here. Poor guy. 12-4 though, and we're gonna keep it on going. 4,000 gold lead. Short arms are pretty sure for humorous. Short legs would be femurs. You know what? It's okay. We tried.
Talking about Turtle.
You don't hit all the time. Yeah, you said it was a little humorous. It's a bone joke, chat. I'm subtle. Medic would have gotten it. Man, where's my EU casters at? Can we get some hype for EU casters? They're good too, right? All right, mild applause.
That joke could have gone real bad.
Yeah.
Could have been like,
We're LCS fans. Don't you bring that up here. You know what? I understand. We are the better league. All right. Yeah, thank you. That's absolutely right. Power of Evil, our best mid laner from Germany. Okay, so Wild Turtle pushing it up, ready to go. FlyQuest in absolute control right now, though an 8-kill lead. CLG have tied their record for kills in a game, by the way, this split.
oh man, yeah, it was so strange. When I saw they only had 4 kills in that game against Dignitas yesterday, despite them basically engaging every fight, was pretty shocking. They just haven't been able to get those last hits in these fights. They've been just a little sloppy. It's like they're not trying for fights. They're just unable to execute.
Oh, they're going to get this one, though. Look at the damage output. Turtle's going to be gone. But what's the re-engage look like? It looks like Ruin going down. But can they get PoE? A single hit would have killed him. The Mountain Soul saves his life. It's a 2-for-1 yet again. Here comes number 3. Goodbye to Stixxay.
At this point, Turtle needs to build tank. He's initiating all of these fights, like they're just jumping on him, and it's technically working for FlyQuest because CLG dives so far into Rumble alt follow-ups, but man, it's turning into a bit of a roughie for Wild Turtle.
He's at least going Fan Knight to third, probably. You have to assume the Zeal goes into that.
It's gotta be Hurricane. Hurricane's a godlike item.
You just said build tank, Jet.
It was a joke.
I understand. Well, this Baron's going to be a joke here for FlyQuest. Nothing really stopping them on the map anywhere at all. Zoe, we've seen Crown steal things in this pit, but a ward will see him come in. PoE is going to mark him. This should be very unlikely. Crown can try, but it gets blocked. PoE's already there. There is not a steal to be had. This will be the claim. Good smite there by Santorin. 4 straight breaks, and the Baron here for FlyQuest.
Still pretty impressed by what we've seen from FlyQuest so far. Chance to become the third 2-0 team of the weekend. Join Dignitas and Cloud9 if they close this out. Look, like CLG sees the fight on Turtle. FlyQuest is just off setting up somewhere else, but look at that rumble up.
Yeah.
Like, just burning and burning as Ignar keeps sitting there, ending up giving the double.
Follow through with a flash for the knockup just to guarantee no way out for 4 Sticks, eh? Yeah, decent damage for PoE. He's doing okay. Speaking of not doing okay, though, goodbye to Ruin. Yeah, he's dead. The play is Ruin is dead. Yeah. He's going to do some damage, but he's dead. He ults, and he's dead. Well, Turtle gets vengeance!
There it is. That's one of those, he's super dead.
Yeah.
Like, there's dead where you say it and maybe he'll get out. Like,
this is not a
be
maybe.
Wrong. This is a super dead. Nothing you can do with it.
Oh, he's sleeping. Doesn't matter. You can't really follow through on that one. They probably kill him for it.
Oh man, this is. I don't like.
What
to
is
see
it?
This.
You don't like to see it?
Like the jungler who's
Are those your missing
off
pinks?
on the bottom side, kind of. Like you're trying to create pressure on the other side because you don't think you can defend the turret anyway, because it's going to be a 4 versus 5. But like he didn't even get the turret. He didn't even get Grom. Like he's just.
Yeah. He ran to the jungle and it's like, Blue's gone. All right, I hit the turret, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the problem is this full take's gonna hook Jarvan.
Okay, there
he
he's going
will,
for it now.
maybe? No, he won't.
He's not. Too.
Yeah. Like, imagine that was Crown, though, right? Like, if it was someone else who could actually deal damage with one split pushing,
yeah,
at least the turret falls.
Just a high level of indecision from CLG, and it's not like they have good plays, so these are all situations where you have to take bad choices. That's just how being behind in League of Legends works.
Yeah.
But still, just a lot to clean up for CLG going into next week.
We'll see if they can do it. As we mentioned, it's and we heard the analysts talk about it as well. I think it was Crumbs. Yeah. Take the long shot here, right? Championship points are gone this season. So it's go to MSI or bust in Spring Split, and then go to Worlds in summer is the run, right?
Yeah.
That's the road for the team. So, you know, I can give teams a longer shot here.
Yeah, and top 6 teams make playoffs, like it's literally just first week. This isn't a condemnation of CLG as a whole. It's just,
no, of course not.
It is clear from watching them right here that they are out of sorts. And FlyQuest, a big surprise early on in week 1 with how coordinated they've looked.
With a steal for Crown, but it's very, very small little bit of gain. As now Santorin jumps back, rooted, kind of in place, but no one's ranged him anyway, as Wild Turtle shoves in this mid lane. We get ready for the next play. 15 seconds on Elder Dragon. I have seen games turn on Elder Dragon steals. Now, FlyQuest has done a good job of marking the jungler, of marking the Zoe, keeping them out of the pit. But Elder Dragon is full power regardless of your Drake count. CLG would have as much buff as FlyQuest would have here.
Yeah, very stealable buff. You can see Viper also clearing that side wave. He's got a TP. You don't want to see a late TP, that's for sure, as they're getting the Elder Drake down pretty low. Where's it going to come in?
Here comes everybody. Here comes the TP. Here comes the play. Ruin finds PoE for a duel. Knocks him over the pit, gets him right back in there. Here comes the dive, and the fight has begun. Ruin forces a flash wave, but he is stuck inside the pit, and Santorin takes him down. Wiggly knocked up, pops the stopwatch. Decent damage to the back line, but it's 5v4. Ult comes across. 2 kills picked up already. Looking for number 3. That's going to be a kill. No problem on a smoothie. Now the last 2 are running away. Stixxay trying to run as fast as he can. Gets a bit extra move speed. Crowd running away as well. 3 for 0. FlyQuest get that team fight, no problem. The bot lane wave is already into the base as well. Nexus taking damage already. Let's go FlyQuest chants from the crowd as they're going to go for the Nexus turrets right now as well. And how do you defend a 2v5 when you're down 10,000 gold? The answer is you don't. Crown is going to lose his throne as the turret falls. The Nexus is going to drop as well. And FlyQuest will also take an undefeated week 1.
Clean game from FlyQuest right here, taking down CLG in 31 minutes and smiles all around as they start off 2-0.
FlyQuest flourishing so far in the early spring split. Definitely impressed by them. They're looking really good all together. Everyone's putting in work. Santorin really picked up where he left off as a hugely impactful jungler.
Right. I think it's going to be very important as Santorin transitions to find ways to make those first 3 or 4 levels work. Because once he gets that, he's a very efficient, smart player. This game was basically the dream scenario where you get the first blood and then a bonus first blood because Wiggly ended up jumping in afterwards.
Yeah.
But from there on, having the follow-up and the flank vision for Ignar and Santorin to just buddy up and either CC chain Crown or CC chain Stixxay in critical situations was nice to watch.
Really nice to watch. Well played by the squad. So we'll see him again in about 7 days as they come back for week 2 of the LCS. A 2-0 run for FlyQuest. Sadly for CLG, a 0-2 for them. We're looking at, the thought coming into the offseason was, okay, probably side grade in the support role. Although we heard Stixxay say, hey, I really like how much more vocal Smoothie is. Maybe for the CLG style, they consider it, from their perspective, an upgrade. I can accept that.
Yep.
Mid lane, I think a lot of people were looking at Crown as being an exceptional, as being a better player than Pee Wee. That was the read coming in. But so far, it's not quite come together for CLG.
Yeah, well, better is an interesting term because a lot of it depends on the context.
Yes.
Crown is a player that a lot of people saw more capable of making things happen in the early game, and that's the way CLG wanted to play. What's happened in the first few weeks is like Victor's looked really good, Zoe's looked really good, Oriana's looked really good. That's prime PoE time. I think I was talking to Prawley about this, is usually at like international events or later in the season, it's the early game lane stomp snowball that wins. But oftentimes in the early season, it's the scaling picks that work because teams aren't polished enough to close games early.
Right.
That then you have that late game power and you pick up a lot of the early wins.
Right.
So for sure, like every team tries to improve in the offseason, and early on, it's like FlyQuest improved in the offseason.
Sure.
CLG not so much, but again, jury's still out.
Right, when you've only got like 12 players on the same roster in the same spot they were before, you've got to relearn teamwork and cohesiveness, everything. So you are in a different meta game in the sense that the teamwork is weaker, so a different style will work out here. Hey, great team fighting so far for FlyQuest. Good job on the 2-0. And now for more on that win, Gabby standing by for an interview with Wild Turtle.
Thank you, Freak. It sounds like there will be a forest named after FlyQuest soon enough based off their performance this weekend so far. 2-0, that's a great place to be. But considering a lot of people are questioning exactly where FlyQuest stands in the standings right now, what does it mean to you personally to have such a strong start?
For us, I think like going to is nice and all, but I think we're kind of looking at the big picture here, and we kind of just want to do well the whole regular season. So we kind of have our eyes set on mostly summer.
Now, specifically for your laning experience, the org was excited about a lot of things, but the Ignar pickup. So how do you think that this contrasts to perhaps last partners that you've had?
I really enjoy playing with Ignar. I mean, he's a really good player, and he's a really funny guy too, so it's just like fun in and out of game.
People have been watching you for a long time, and on FlyQuest particularly, you've been around, highs, some lows I won't make you relive at this moment, but what can we expect from you as far as your dedication and the rest of the squad to get back to that team where we saw 3 playoff performances in the past and really shooting for the stars?
We're just going green and taking it one game at a time, pretty much.
Well, speaking of Go Green, actually, the org itself is really into this new initiative. I'm curious about how the players themselves feel. Are you as connected to it as FlyQuest is? I'm
pretty stoked about it myself because I've always, I don't know, liked nature. I like the animals. I like turtles, you know. so I'm always a big fan of nature.
Whether he's been turtle or tortoise, he has always been a fan of nature here on the stage. So for more on this performance, let's send it over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.